Today's free career masterclass is about future-proof your AI/ML career, the top do's and don'ts for 2024. So there's an interesting session lined up for you with our speaker Prerit Saxena, who is a data scientist in Microsoft USA. And we'll be starting the session in a few minutes, right on time. Meanwhile, keep the introductions coming in. So let's network a bit, let's socialize a bit before we start. And I see introductions coming in on chat. That's great. Once again, welcome everyone. It's fantastic to have you all on board. And I'm Rasha Khan. I'm your host for today's webinar, and I'm joining from Bangalore, India. Would love to know where are you joining us from? Please do let us your name and your basically where are you tuning in from on the chat here. As you can see, a lot of folks have already started introducing themselves. Before we start, we can talk a bit on the chat here. We can introduce ourselves. I see a lot of folks who have joined are basically aspiring towards an AI/ML career or are curious about AI/ML career in 2024. So we'll be talking about top do's and don'ts and also career in AI/ML in 2024. So we'll be talking a lot more about those two things, and we have an interesting session lined up for you. Before we start, this is just for the folks who have joined early. So in case you have a question or a query for our speaker, Prerit Saxena here today, you can let us know in the Q&A box. Due to the chat volume, we get a lot of questions in the chat. We get a lot of conversations which are happening on the chat, as you can see. So we might miss your questions there. So just to make sure that we are getting your questions on basically answered, we need to see that in the Q&A box. So just please make sure the questions are related to AI/ML and put down your questions in the Q&A box. I'll be taking you through the session's agenda and the ground rules in some time as we start the session. Meanwhile, let keep the introductions coming in, and we will start the session in a few minutes. And I see a lot of folks, new folks are joining, so that's great. Just to let you know, folks who have just joined right now, we'll be starting the free career masterclass on how you can future-proof your AI/ML career, top do's and don'ts for 2024. Right on time, you have joined in early, so that's great. We're just doing a quick round of introduction on the chat here, as you can see. And we're just having a little bit introductions. People are sharing their names and where are they tuning in from. As this is a global webinar, I can see a lot of folks have joined from different countries. So if you have just joined right now, you can give us your introduction on the chat here. Introduce yourself to the folks here who have joined before we start. Awesome. I see a lot more introductions coming in on chat here. I can see Ritesh has joined from Mumbai, Gulam has joined from Pakistan. I can see Suresh has joined from Bangalore. I can see Ira has joined from Seattle, US. And I can see Fawaz has joined from Kuwait. Minhas has joined from Germany. So once again, welcome everyone. We'll be starting the session right on time in a few minutes. Before we start, let me quickly take you through the ground rules here. Meanwhile, please keep the introductions coming in as you're joining. So please do introduce yourself from the chat here. It's always good to network, right? These events before we start. So it's always good to know folks who are joining in. So just few ground rules you need to follow in order to basically, for the session. So you need to put down your questions in the Q&A box. You can easily navigate the Q&A box that is just beside the chat box here. So in case you have any questions for our speaker, Prerit Saxena, here today, you can let us know in the Q&A box, and I'll make sure that your questions basically are answered. So just have a little patience with us. We have a special duration for the Q&A part towards the end. So in case we will try to answer as many questions as possible throughout the session. But in case we are not able to answer your question during the session, we will try to answer it towards the end. So stay tuned towards the end of the session. and keep the questions related to the AI/ML. So that's all you need to keep in mind. And as we start, so the session is being recorded. So in case you are basically looking for a recording of the link, in case you want to go through the session recording once again, in case you miss out something, you can expect a follow-up email with recording link, webinar certificate, and bonus offer. Bonus offer is for the Purdue University's program, which you'll be talking about towards the end of the session, which you can enroll for and also avail for the bonus offer here. To request a proof of attendance for this webinar, you need to enter your full name in the post-webinar survey. The post-webinar survey will be basically happening once we end this session, which is of 60 minutes of duration. And once we end the session on Zoom, you will get a pop-up of post-webinar survey, which you can easily go and basically fill out the survey. So in case you have any questions about the post-webinar survey, I can answer it towards the end. And as I was speaking, we saw a lot of introductions coming in on the chat, so that's great. Please do keep the introductions coming in, as I see a lot of new folks are joining in. Also, this program is powered by Simplilearn, world's #1 online bootcamp. We are very proud that we have been transforming lives by empowering people via digital skills. Over the last 13 years, we have been in this space. We have advanced over 5 lakh plus careers. We have basically been in over 150 plus countries. We have 800 plus qualified trainers. We cover categories of courses comprising from AI, machine learning, data science, business analytics, cybersecurity, cloud computing, DevOps, product management, and many more. So today we'll be talking about the AI/ML category by Purdue University. So as we move on, before we start, we would love to get to know you a little better. So before we start, we would love to know how many years of experience do you currently have? So what happens is you can see a quick poll on your screen. This is a single choice question. So what happens is we get folks from different set of experiences, and that makes the session much more interesting because we get a lot of questions also comprising from different set of experiences folks have. They come from different backgrounds. So we would love to know basically how many years of experience do you currently have. Now, when I talk about experience here, I'm talking about work experience here. So how many years of work experience do you currently have? You can see 4 quick options here. The first one is currently studying. Second one is 0 to 3 years. Third one is 3 to 5 years. And the last one is more than 5 years from now. As I'm speaking, I can still see the introductions coming in. So I see that we have gotten a lot of basically active set of folks here, a very warm, welcoming audience here who are introducing themselves on the chat here. And this is a global webinar, so you will see a lot of folks joining from different countries. So it's always good to network, right, these events before we start. So keep the introductions coming in before we start, and also make sure the poll, which you can see on the screen, please do vote for that. We would love to know a little bit more about you before we start. So, and as I was speaking, I can see most of the folks have already shared their responses for the poll here. So I think I'll just give 5 seconds more for the poll here. So you can see that quick poll on your screen. Yes, experience on what? Work experience. Someone has asked on the chat here, as I mentioned earlier. If you don't have any work experience, you can select currently studying, or you can let us know on the chart here. That's not an issue. So I think I'll just give 5 seconds more for the poll here. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me quickly end the poll and also share the results with you folks. So as we can see, 52% of the folks who have joined us have more than 5 years of experience. That's interesting. And 23% of the folks who have joined us are currently studying. 14% of the folks have 0 to 3 years of experience, and 12% of the folks have 3 to 5 years of experience. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. As we move forward, we will be talking about the agenda of the session here. For folks who have just joined us, we have just quickly gone through the ground rules of the session. So as I mentioned earlier, we'll be getting to know a little bit more about you, how we can help you out in your career in AI/ML. I will be talking about careers in AI/ML machine learning in 2024. We'll be talking about how you can future-proof your AI/ML career, top do's and don'ts for 2024. We'll be giving you a program introduction of a postgraduate program in AI/ML by Purdue University, and how this program prepares you, learner outcomes, enrollment steps of the program, and the Q&A part of the session. As I mentioned, we'll try to take as many questions as possible during the session, but we do get a lot of quantity of questions, so we'll try to answer as many as possible. So please do put down your questions in the Q&A box if you have any questions. As you can see, the chat volume is pretty much for us to basically go and find out your questions here. So please do help us with that, and also keep your questions related to AI/ML. So that will be great for us for us to answer, as this session is related to AI/ML. And as we move forward, we already have our speaker here with us, Prerit Saxena. Prerit, would like to first of all welcome you and thank you for taking the time out for this free career masterclass, friends. We'll be talking about a lot of careers to top do's and don'ts on AIML. But before we start, we would love to know a little bit about you. Please, can you give us your introductions to the crowd here?
Hi, sure. Thanks for inviting me, Rasha. Can everyone hear me? If I'm audible, just give a thumbs up in the chat so that I know you can hear me.
Yeah, we're getting a bunch of yeses here.
That's great. Yeah, and I'll also be looking at the chat. So if you have any questions, I'll be answering those. And I have another screen to my left. So if I look at the left, don't think I'm distracted. I'm just looking at my screen to the slides. Okay, so to give you my introduction, I'm Prerit. I'm currently a data scientist at Microsoft. I have about 8+ of years of experience in tech, healthcare, and manufacturing analytics. Right now, I work on the product called Edge Browser, which was Internet Explorer in the past, and now it's revamped as Edge Browser. I work cross-functionally across teams, across countries. Proficient in R, SQL, SAS. I think Russia is very nicely summarized it. Right now, my focus area of work is A/B testing, but I also work in machine learning. There are some other areas of business analytics that I touch on, and so on. I did my master's in analytics from University of Cincinnati in US in 2018, and post that I started working here. Before that, I was working with companies like ZS in India, which are like great startup playgrounds for analytics folks. And I've also had certifications from the universities like Columbia, MIT, Purdue, and there is Insofe, which is based out of Hyderabad in India, which is great for learning data science skills. So that's basically my career. A little more of the script, how I got started into it is about, I think, 8 years ago when this thing was still new, I was dabbling in R and trying to see how regression works, how basic machine learning works. And that kind of got me interested into this. There were a few online courses available that got me started. And once I developed interest into it, I thought, why not take it up as a full-time job? So I started working in the industry and started enjoying it more. And that's where I decided to go for my master's. And it's a journey that's still continuing, and I'm constantly learning new things, growing into this field, and enjoying as I grow. So hope you all do that too. And yeah, let's move on to the next slide.
Thank you so much, Prerit, for an amazing introduction. Again, we're glad to have you here. We're looking forward to an interesting session here. As we move on, I think let's start with about careers in AI and machine learning in 2024. So here are the hottest skills in AI/ML in 2024. Can you share your comment on these hottest skills which folks can take up in 2024?
Yes. So I think it's a great list, Rasha, for hottest skills in AI/ML 2024. A lot of them have been relevant for some time, and some are really growing fast. So starting with top of the list, I think Gen AI is something that everyone should be aware of and should be learning, because this is the hottest field. And kind of a lot of companies are coming into it. A lot of courses are available, and you can also do a lot of self-learning. Large language models is part of Gen AI. Prompt engineering is a field where you kind of interact with the large language models through prompts. So how to design those, how to make them efficient to get the best out of the model, that's a really growing skill, and I see a lot of companies hiring for it. AI strategy and consulting is becoming more and more relevant as we enter this era of AI. Experimentation is something that I am involved in currently. It's basically known as A/B testing as well, as you all will be knowing. Touching upon the other ones, causal inference is part of econometrics, and a lot of people who are involved with experimentation, they do causal inference as well. Deep learning, you all know. ML ops and data engineering are for people who are really interested on the engineering side of it. And this involves like building pipelines and setting up the models and so on. While you need all this, you also need to know how to set it up. Basically, When you deploy your models, you need big data architecture. So that's where, big data architects come in, cloud computing comes in, distributed computing comes in to make your models efficient and make your process streamlined. Um, then we have computer vision, which is kind of a niche. Few companies are really working into it, doing great things. And then forecasting is a field where a lot of companies have been working on it in some time. And this is something that I don't see that will go away in the near future. So it's good to get some skills in forecasting as well.
Thank you so much, Prerit, for taking us to this hottest skills in AI/ML. Now we have talked about the skill. Let's talk about the career paths also they open up, right? In 2024.
Yes. So based on the skills that you saw, I think there are different career paths that you can take. Right now, as I said, artificial intelligence is really hot. So anybody who is working as a researcher in this field is an AI researcher. You can be working on large language models, alternative models, and so on. AI developer is something that people who work with AI researchers, so they might not be involved in the academic part of it, but they might be involved in taking that research to production and making it a product. So that's how the AI framework works. Then, if you are good in machine learning, if you like it, you can be a machine learning engineer, or you can be an MLOps engineer. The difference between the two is very subtle. Machine learning engineer needs to know how the models work, how to fine tune the models, and so on. MLOps engineer, on the other hand, they need to know how to deploy the models. So once you have a model from a team or from a ML engineer, you have to deploy it, you have to maintain it, you have to make sure that all the pipelines and data engineering works fine. That's the work of MLOps engineers. Data science has been a very interesting career path for some time, and it's going to be in future. So you can be a data scientist working on a lot of things like, we discuss experimentation, causal inference, deep learning, and so on. Or you can also be a decision scientist, which is another very interesting area. Um, Again, there is a slight difference. Data scientists can work on machine learning, can work on statistics, and so on. But decision scientist basically works on the business science part of it, which means how you help your leadership to take decisions in a company and how you uncover insights from the data. Then data engineering, which is very similar to machine learning engineer MLOps. The only difference is that you don't need to be working on a machine learning model. If you are a data engineer, you can be simply working on creating data pipelines, making sure data flow is correct into all the systems that you have in your company. And then business intelligence engineer is someone who is working on data pipelines along with working on something like visualization tools. So how you create dashboards in Tableau or some other based tools like Power BI and how you maintain those tools. So that's the work of a BI engineer.
Prerit, thank you so much for taking us to this career paths in AI/ML. Now we have talked about the data science part here in career path and data scientist, like you being a data scientist yourself. I'm pretty sure folks who have joined us would love to know your journey towards Microsoft, as a data scientist. Maybe if you can share a little something about it, that will be great as well.
Yeah, sure. So I would also take you a little prior to my Microsoft journey. So I was after I did my master's, I was working for KMK Consulting, which is like a healthcare consulting company in the US, and they work with big pharma companies like Novartis and Gilead and so on. So there, my role was more of a decision scientist, which means I was working very closely with the leaderships, people who make decisions, product managers, and those are the ones which are kind of responsible for taking a decision of any product in the healthcare industry. So what they would need from me is now you have all the data about this product. How do you think we should segment our customers in future? How do you think our forecast will look like in the next 6 months? So that's more on the decision science part. Then I moved to Viva, which was a complete ML role in which I was building models. So I was doing all kinds of random forest, machine learning, and building those complicated models, putting it into the system. So it was kind of like a core data science work. And then I was interested in a bit more. So I wanted to do something with experimentation or A/B testing, which is why I moved to Microsoft. And here my role is also a data scientist role, but it's in experimentation. So I help future teams run experiments. I work with product managers and software engineers all the time. together trying to launch a feature. So if you're working on an Edge browser and you see, okay, this new bookmark button appeared, so that process would have been done through a data scientist working along with the product manager. Yeah, so that has been my journey. I think for me, it has really worked to stay curious and not restrict myself to one field and just kept exploring over the time. But I think, Rasha, it's also a good time that we should ask the folks in the chat that if they have to pick any one of these careers, or if they find one of these careers more interesting than the others, which one is that? And let's see what our audience says.
Yeah, folks, definitely agree, Prerit. Please do let us know in chat if you were to pick any of these EML career paths, which basically will be opening up in 2024. So you can see these career paths here. Which one would you be interested in taking up? So please do let us know in the chat here. It doesn't have to be exactly these career paths. You can let us know if there's any other career path as well you have in mind. Okay, we see responses coming in. Oh, we have gotten
a lot of AI developers.
Yeah, aspiring AI developers here. Interesting. And a very set of active folks here. So we are getting a lot of responses here. That's great.
Yeah, this is great. I think we have folks from all the domains and they're interested in a lot of stuff, which is great. I see someone said doctor. I'm assuming this is more like doctor in one of the fields of AI/ML.
Yes. I think we're getting a lot of responses here. Please keep the responses coming in. We would love to know. As we have gotten an audience of 200 plus. So I'm pretty sure, please do let us know in the chat. Please keep sharing your basically career paths you would take up. So as we move on, as this is basically the main topic of the session, which is something, we lined up for you, future-proofing your AI/ML career, top do's and don'ts to consider for 2024. So as we move ahead, let's talk about the AI/ML landscape in 2024 first, Prerit.
Yeah, sure. So the AI/ML landscape is rapidly evolving, I would say. So you see new developments coming in every day, and every week there is a company putting out their dev day with new products that they created, they're launching. So it's going to be very dynamic in 2024. There will be various industries that will be launching it, from healthcare to finance. I see tech taking a lead in this, but every industry, be it banking or be it e-commerce or be it travel, I see they're integrating their websites with chatbots or generative AI, trying to be in the game and trying to keep up with the latest trends. There are a lot of emerging trends there. Federated learning is there, which is basically you are learning from local models on your system. Which is great. Then there are AI ethics and AI augmented creativity. Well, AI is a huge field right now. So whenever there is an explosion of a field like this, there needs to be a set of regulations which kind of controls all this. So I do see a lot of AI regulations coming in. Eventually, there will be AI ethics, which means how do you apply AI to your company, being in the moral boundaries of ethics and not really misusing it, right? And then there is AI augmented creativity in some part already, like Meta has Quest, and then Microsoft has HoloLens. So all these companies, they are using AI in their AR and VR experiences as well. So rest assured, there's going to be a lot of demand of expertise in all these fields where every company and every organization is trying to break into this field and trying to make the most of it.
That sounds pretty interesting for AI/ML, basically future 2024 and beyond. Now let's start with the do's. Do's basically for an AI/ML career in 2024.
Yeah, so the first one is staying relevant. I would not term it as staying relevant. I would say I would term it as thriving. So if you're really in this field and you want to thrive, what do you need to do? First, most important thing, it has worked for me pretty well, that always stay curious and don't restrict yourself to doing one thing than the other, because this field is rapidly evolving. So keep yourself abreast of whatever is coming in the industry. Read up blogs from tech companies. Airbnb has a very nice blog. Netflix has a blog. Microsoft has a blog. So read up blogs from these companies, and then there are also people on LinkedIn that you can follow that write their own blogs, or these are experts in their area in AI/ML. So be curious always and ask questions. So why does this thing work like this, or what is the advantage of using one thing over the other? And that would really help you, build that curiosity within yourself to do more. Um, then, of course, like courses and certifications is how I got started into this industry. So that really helps. And don't restrict yourself to just doing an online course. Like most of the tools in this area right now are open source and are available for everyone to use without any kind of restriction. So you can take a course online, which is an audit course, and try to do that. If you need a certificate, you can pay for it and get a certificate, which will show you that you have these skills that you can portray to your future employers. And then yeah, again, so this kind of more important. And then whenever you interview, um, your interview shouldn't be like a one-way street where your interviewer is asking you questions. It should be a two-way street that you are also asking them that, hey, I see your blog that you are doing this new thing in AI. How are you doing this? How can I learn more about this? So that would really help. So always keep your morale up about this, and don't feel dejected if you think that something new has come up and you've not been there. You will eventually, if you have that zeal of learning, you will eventually get there, and you will find the resources for it on the internet.
Totally agree to that. I think we move on to more do's where you can basically diversify your skill set. I think you've talked about the skill sets, like don't limit yourself to only certifications. Certifications do help you to start off, like build your curiosity towards AI/ML for sure. But maybe can you share a comment on basically how they can diversify their skill sets as well?
Yeah, of course. So yeah, I think Russia, as you said, certifications do help for sure, and that's a good starting point. So that's how I got started as well. So certifications are important. Then don't restrict yourself to them. Read up blogs and do some hands-on, and keep diversifying your skill set, which is again trying out new things that are available. And that's a great second point mentioned here on the slide, which is there are a lot of interdisciplinary fields which come in with AI. So as AI is increasing, you will have AI ethics. Um, Facebook has a board for it. I think Google has a board for it. And most of the companies are now creating their teams for responsible AI. Microsoft has a big team for AI for social good. So all these companies would want to diversify their own work as well in this field of AI, and you should also take advantage of that and try out these different teams or different kind of work and know more about it. And how can you expand it? Similarly for ML, ML is a huge domain. You can pick your niche, so you can say, I want to be a computer vision scientist, or I want to be a natural language specialist, or I want to be a deep learning specialist. So that is something you can pick, or you can also say, hey, I'm early in my career, so I want to be a generalist. I want to do everything. But eventually, after 5 years, I'll pick what I enjoy the most, and I'll be a specialist in that way. So that's I think, good way to go and not restrict yourself to one particular thing. Uh, Also, if you're in academics, then I think you have more propensity towards picking one over the other, and you say, I would really want to do some machine learning in healthcare domain specifically because I am from a medical background. Then AI or ML doesn't come siloed in their job description. So when you know something about ML or statistics or AI, you also need to get a bit of sense of how to deploy these systems on cloud, or how to build a pipeline for getting the data in and cleaning the data. So get a bit of sense about how Hadoop works, how AWS works, how Azure works, and so on. And then there are also other platforms like Kaggle. So you can try your learnings on Kaggle, build up a simple notebook, and showcase it so that other people in the world can see what you're doing. Then the last point is again about data engineering and DevOps. So do dabble a bit into what data engineering is like. How do I build my pipeline for getting the data? How do I play with a visualization tool? So that if you are in a role where your leaders need you to do something to basically create like visualizations for the company or for yourself as well. If you It can be as simple as your job interviews journey. You can create a visualization and share in a Medium blog, and then people would be able to see what your skill set is.
Thank you so much, Prerit, for sharing your comment on how they can diversify their skill set. As we move on, we actually have started getting a lot of interesting questions, folks, in the Q&A box, and I see a lot of folks are sharing their questions in the chat box. So please do put down your questions in the Q&A box, because we are going to miss it on the chat, and we would love to address your queries, which we are going to do it towards the end of the session. As promised, and let's move on to the next do's of basically AI/ML career in 2024, building your network.
Yeah, so it's very important to not work alone in this world where everyone is connected via internet, and there are some great resources available and also some great people doing some great stuff. So feel free to attend all the conferences that are available. A lot of them are free, even if it's paid. I think it's a good investment. Like I do, I attend at least one conference a month, and that's how I get to meet with folks, learn what they're doing, and it's very good to have an in-person interaction with them. And create those connections, right? So definitely a good way to meet people. Then there are meetups and there are webinars like the one we are having today. So do get into a community of people who are trying to do interesting work and who are trying to break into this field, and it's good to find people in the similar journey as yours. So regarding communities, I see there are a lot of communities these days, and there are forums and there are like online portals that let you connect, and um, so do that. There are Discord groups, there are Telegram channels, and all sorts of things about data science that people do. Then seeking out mentors is something that I've always encouraged. So self-learning can get frustrated at times where you are like, I've read all these books and I've read all these blogs, but I don't know what to do. And nobody in my peer can help me. So I need someone who can like help me create my career journey, right? And that's where mentors come in. So find out mentors. I see a lot of people post on LinkedIn about, I'm looking for a mentor in data science, and that's great because then there can be people who are in the industry already, and they can help you, and they can guide you on what you can do and how you can grow your career, and they can answer like all the questions for you, like even questions like, I have 4 areas that I'm interested in. Which one is going to be good? Which one do you think I should go on? What does every career domain require, and so on. So do connect with your mentors, do connect with your advisors, and then as I said earlier, there are websites, there are places you can build your own projects, and then you can showcase it to the world. Medium is a way to write articles and share with people. Kaggle is a website where you can create notebooks. There are data sets available. You can write up your code and you can run your notebooks and share it in your LinkedIn profile and say, hey, I've created this mini project. Do you want to take a look and add your comments? So in that case, people can also critique your work and they can give constructive feedback, so you can learn from there. So yeah, so don't be alone. There are a ton of people, as we can see in this webinar, who are interested in similar things. So it's good to have a community.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I think I went off network. So thank you so much, Prerit, for taking us through the do's here. I think as we move forward, we have talked about do's, but let's talk about the don'ts here for AI/ML career in 2024. So as the first one says, that relies solely on your current skills. I think you have mentioned about this earlier, but I think you can give a quick preview of what you mentioned earlier as well.
Yeah, so I think we have touched briefly on this one. it's a rapidly evolving field. A few years ago, people did not know how to do data science. Um, and the reason was not that data science was not there somewhere. Uh, Artificial intelligence has been there since 1960s, I believe. The only reason it was not so generalized as it is now is because we did not have enough capacity to run models and compute power. And we did not have enough data. So now we have both. We have data, we have compute power. So what that has fostered is a culture of AI/ML where everyone can go and run their models and build something out of it. And that's why this field has exploded in the recent times. So with any rapidly evolving field, there are things that come because there might be new things that are coming in. There might be like AI generated graphs, uh, and there can be libraries for doing that. So uh, keep evolving, keep learning new things, and have a growth mindset, which is something we really encourage in Microsoft. That you should have a growth mindset, and you should be able to say yes to new things that are coming, and you should be able to say, "Hey, I want to learn that. I've not done this in the past, but I want to learn that and see what this leads to." And that's a growth mindset. So you don't say no. You don't say no that no, I've not done it in the past and it's too much and I can't do it. Embrace a growth mindset. Try new things, learn new things, and see what really works for you. Um, and also, I think it's important to unlearn because in the past there have been a lot of things in the technology, which are done in a certain way, and now there are things which are doing the same things in a better way. So you don't need to restrict yourself with the old ways. You can always say that, hey, this is something new that I learned, so I need to get rid of my old knowledge, which is outdated, and kind of know how it's done in the real world now.
That is pretty interesting. I think definitely unlearn. I think they say that kill your masters, kill your darlings. The same mindset you can apply if you're early learning skills. So talked about the current skills, like you don't have to completely rely on your current skills. Let's talk about the next don'ts here. So neglecting soft skills. So Prerit, so you basically have shared your journey with us, to Microsoft here as a data scientist here, and you have even worked in other places as well. You've transitioned your career. So, how has the soft skills basically helped you basically get where you are? And also, I'm pretty sure that it helps in teamwork, team collaboration, getting things done. Storytelling is also important, I feel like, for an AML engineer when you're working on a project. So, can you share your basically experience in that?
Yeah, of course. And I think I have my answer, but I would also like to hear from people in this webinar. Like, do you think soft skills are important in the industry? Give me a guess in the chat if you think they are, and give me a no if you think no, you can survive with the technical skills. And I do know a lot of people say that, I am a great software developer. Why do I need technical skills? Yeah, I do see a lot of yeses, which which is great. Um, so this reaffirms the point. Technical skills are good. It's important to have them. Soft skills are, it's very, very, very critical to have. You cannot survive in the industry or academia without soft skills. And soft skills is not just, communicating with or telling with your manager that what you're doing and so on. It's basically working cross-functionally, working with different kinds of domains. Like as a data scientist, I work with product managers all the time and software engineers all the time. So everyone has a different set of skills and a different way to approach the problem. And you need to be respectful of what others are doing and how they are bringing their ideas to the table. And at the same time, you also need to bring your ideas to the table and say, hey, I understand what you want to do. This is what I want to do. Let's come together and build a project which makes the best of the skills of yours and mine and someone else's. And that's how great teams and great products are created. So it's very important to have those skills. It's important to have teamwork, which is basically, also managing your work. So whenever you're working in a team, it's important to work with the teammates and say, uh, that let's this is the bigger problem that we all are trying to solve. Let's break it down to small parts and take ownership of the problems, and say what I want to do versus what you want to do. It is applicable to AI/ML projects, but it's also applicable to everything else in the industry. Uh, then interpersonal skills are very important. Teams nowadays are diverse. I'm pretty sure a lot of people in this chat um, are also working in teams which are cross country, right? So if you're in India, you work with teams in the US or Europe or Australia, and if you are if you're in any geography, you basically work with 3 or 4 geographies at a time. Like I, on a daily basis, work with at least 3 geographies. So which means everyone has a different kind of like way of thinking and way of communicating, and I need to be respectful of it, and I need to know how to communicate with people to get the work done. So it's a very imperative to have a technical knowledge, but it's also very critical to have soft skills, and when you combine those two, good things start happening in your career. Yeah, uh, don't neglect those, and keep building on those as well.
Thank you so much, Prerit, for sharing your experience. And also, I think we've gotten a good response from the crowd so far. A lot of aspiring AML, as basically practitioners here. So let's move on to the next one here. So the don'ts here, ignoring ethical considerations as well for an AML practitioner.
Yeah, this is kind of becoming important as we are going further in this field of AI. So again, let me ask people, how many of you have heard about the Samsung leak that happened with ChatGPT? It was a big news. It was all over the place. TechCrunch or Forbes or any big magazine have covered it. What they did was, they were a few months ago, ChatGPT came out and they were trying stuff with ChatGPT, and they accidentally leaked internal information on ChatGPT. And if you know how ChatGPT works, it takes the information from the conversations it has with the user if you don't opt out, and then those conversations are used to like train the model further and make it better. So if you leak your private things, if you leak your bank passwords, if you leak your social ID information, all those things would be going into model inputs, and then those would be available to train the model, and they can be seen by other people as well who are interacting with the model. So it's very, very dangerous. If there are no privacy rules, if there are no ethical considerations to this, and it's so important to have a framework that allows you to operate in a certain way without leaking any information. And that's why a lot of companies that you see these days are creating their boards of ethics and privacy, because it's kind of very imperative these days. Also, whenever you're thinking about like a AI project, let's say you say, I want to create a simple chatbot that uses ChatGPT or Llama model in the backend. You need to also think about, how do you make sure that this is a responsible product, which means it doesn't harm the system. There is something called jailbreaking. I don't know if you guys have heard, which is basically asking the model to do something which it should not do. For example, if I ask the model that, hey, these are my earnings, can you give me a tax summary and how much should my taxes be? This is something that a model should not do. But if you get the model to do that, that's called jailbreaking. And this is again under the field of ethics, that a model should not give any financial advice, tax advice, and in the first place, you should not be giving your financial information to a model, because if you do that, that information can be available to other people, and it can become a public information which you don't want, right? So always think about in the purview of ethics and responsible AI development. What actions do you need to take to make your projects safe in those terms? And also, you need to reduce the bias in your solutions. We have seen a lot of chatter about AI being biased and GPT being biased, and products like Bing Image Creator, which is based on DALL-E, that is biased for certain groups than other groups. So a lot of work is being done in this. There are a lot of videos on YouTube that you can watch, and it's kind of very important to to take that into account as well.
Thank you so much, Prerit, for taking us to the ethical considerations here and also sharing an interesting recent story here. So as we move on, let's do a little bit summary of all the things we have covered, the future of AI/ML careers here, also which will be opening up, after in 2024.
Yes. So I think as we have been talking in this webinar, AI/ML is a growing field. There would be a lot of roles that are be coming in. Companies which are creating their AI products, they need people to work on these products. They need people to ideate, innovate, and all those roles are ready to be filled with people having knowledge in this area. There are a lot of industries that want to do this. So don't restrict yourself to industries. Don't restrict yourself to a certain kind of role. Go ahead, feel free to explore what's out there, and innovate, because that's where the industry is going. A lot of you might say, okay, I see a lot of companies are doing a lot of stuff, but I don't want to do what others are doing. I want to do something on my own. I want to create like my own venture which uses AI to solve a certain problem. Very good career path. You can be an entrepreneur, and you can create your own venture. And I think there's a lot of interest in those ventures in the market right now. And then everything right now is global. So all the innovations are global. All the advancements that are happening in this domain are global, and even there are a lot of global jobs. So don't restrict yourself to a geography, I would say. Explore again what's out there. And then the only way I feel that someone can be successful is to be a lifelong learner. So keep learning whatever new comes in, and keep and embrace a growth mindset. So let things come to you, and kind of be a student, as to say, like always be a student and always be curious about what's coming, and you'll not be you'll not feel down in your career. You'll always feel like you are growing when you are a lifelong learner.
Definitely agree. Stay curious, as they say. Thank you so much, Prerit, for sharing the future of AI and careers here. So now, folks, we have basically covered the career paths here. We talked about what hottest skills you can take up in AI/ML in 2024. So we would love to know what exactly is stopping you from becoming an AI/ML practitioner. You're here because you're interested in AI/ML. As we saw, a lot of AI developers coming in, wanted to take up this career path. So we basically, through this poll, which you can see on your screen here, this is a multiple choice poll, where we would love to understand what is the biggest challenge you face when you basically think of aspiring for a career in AI/ML or becoming an AI/ML practitioner here. So this will help us understand what exactly is the biggest challenge you're facing as we go forward. And also, as we were speaking, we actually have gotten a lot of interesting questions in the Q&A box, and we'll be taking those in some time. We have a little limited time here, so we'll try to take this a little faster. So as I'm speaking, we can see that folks have already shared their responses on the poll here. In case this poll does not cover your response, the biggest challenge you're facing, let us know in the Q&A box or in the chat box as well. And this is really a good time to go and put down your questions in the Q&A box. I'm pretty sure you have questions now that we have covered the top do's and don'ts of AI/ML career in 2024. So I'll just read out these options for you as you are basically sharing your responses in the multiple choice poll here. So you can select multiple options, as I mentioned earlier. So the first one is, I can't find a program with a fully comprehensive curriculum. Second one, I don't have the practical exposure I need to become job ready. Third one, I find it difficult to learn from pre-recorded videos. And the last one, my work schedule won't allow me enough time for learning. So please do let us know. Through this poll, we will have to understand what is the biggest challenge you're facing here when it comes to taking up a career in AI/ML. So I think most of the folks have shared their responses here. So I'll just give 5 seconds more for the poll here before we move forward. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me quickly end the poll and also share the results with you folks. So as we can see that we have gotten the highest amount of votes for 61% for I wouldn't get the practical exposure I need to become job ready. And then 39% votes for my work schedule won't allow me enough time for learning. 33% votes for I can't find a program with a fully comprehensive curriculum, and 24% votes for I find it difficult to learn from pre-recorded videos. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. This gives us an understanding what exactly is the biggest challenge you're facing. Now, moving forward to the Purdue University's program here. So the Purdue University's postgraduate program in AI and machine learning here comes with a comprehensive curriculum with an industry-aligned learning path. It also gives you access to integrated case studies and hands-on projects for practical experience, considering that you might be coming from a completely different background. I'll be talking more about the projects in the upcoming slides. In case you have any questions, you can let us know. Also, you get access to online live virtual classrooms with peer and instructor interaction. And this program duration is of 11 months. So it is pretty flexible to fit your lifestyle and schedule, which you can just complete it by giving 5 to 10 hours per week. Also, this program is in collaboration with IBM as a partner. Here, what exactly you'll be getting from this program, the Purdue AIML postgraduate certificate, which you can see on the screen, and also an IBM course completion certificate, as IBM is a partner on this program. 25 plus hands-on projects and integrated labs to work on, a capstone project in 3 different domains you can choose from, master classes with Purdue and industry experts career assist program also, which I'll be talking more about in the upcoming slide. The Purdue University advantage here is this Purdue University is a 151-year-old university, consistently ranking one of the top public universities in US.